It's time for us to talk consumer tech.
Yes.
Now, consumer tech today is going to be very interesting. We're talking about tech trends in healthcare. Now, no other person than Stephen Nasser-Brady has joined us in the studio and right here with us on the set, and we're going to have this conversation here. Stephen, good morning and Happy New Year to you.
Good morning, Happy New Year, Kuku.
And Koki. The first time seeing you like in person this New Year, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Yeah, so we're talking tech trends in healthcare.
Yes.
Now, I know a lot of things have been happening, but I'm kind of curious to see where you're going to, take this from to show us. I mean, of course, we've heard about nanotechnology, we talked about, robotics and all of those things. So take us into the conversation. Yes.
All right. Just to lay some kind of a background, I think globally everywhere there's really stress on healthcare services. Lack of staff, pressure on even delivering accurately to what diseases are springing up everywhere and stuff. And so that's where technology becomes relevant. If we look at the first point I want to talk about here, for example, where we're using data and AI to really get into predictive and prescriptive, healthcare. We all wear these wearables around. And they capture so much data. Now, there's so many of them. We are just, we can't, the volume of data that's stored, we can't, even imagine it. Now, this is where in healthcare, elsewhere, they're tapping into all this data that's being captured. And using that to make decisions and make prescriptions. So, for example, let's say if you have a heart condition, you've been wearing a wearable and it's tracking your heart rate and all of that. Over a period, if you go to visit your GP and you're in the surgery, you'll be able to look at how you've been trending, can be able to tell, right, this is what's going on with you. These are the things we can probably look at and be able to make more accurate data-based prescriptions for you. At the same time, when you are, let's say, on a course, let's say on a medication or whatever, it can be tracked. How you are responding to it and all of that. So it takes away a bit of the guesswork that comes in, because sometimes, let's face it, when you're not with your GP or a doctor 24/7, it's difficult to monitor some of these things.
Absolutely.
But with data, you can be able to do this. So that's the first one I want to talk about.
Yeah. So what's
all right?
next?
So there's another one where we've got democratization of healthcare. I don't know if you heard of MedMD.
Yes.
So MedMD is where first. Elsewhere, it's not very popular in Ghana, but elsewhere, if for a lot of first aid, you can just go online or you can call a number, or even these AI-enabled platforms. The same way when you call a call center, you speak to a bot. Can help you go through some of the things. So you can ask you if you can, for example, take your own temperature, or ask you, impute it, measure your heart rate and all those things. They can prescribe some first aid for you. So we're getting into this.
Interesting.
For me, the good thing about it is the fact that it enables more people to access healthcare. Because however far you are, as long as you can get onto the internet, and there are people out there be able to respond to whatever you're going through, you can access healthcare. And for me, that's like great.
Wow. What else do we have?
Then we have personalized and precision healthcare. So, for example, you and myself, we may supposedly have the same medical condition, but a prescription doesn't have to be the same. Because of the knowledge, with the data and with them using all these AI and other tools to be able to drill into the specifics about because your blood group or even how you're responding to. Let's see the example of COVID. People who are experiencing Omicron now, say you get fever, your temperature goes up and down. For other people, it manifests differently. So we can't give them the same treatment. But here's a case where you are able to personalize the treatment prescription for individuals based on their experience. And it's all because with AI and with some data being captured, can be able to drill down, be more specific about what you're giving them.
You know that recently the vice president launched the e-pharmacy policy, and so there's this push to give people the opportunity to get their prescriptions online, have their records digitized, so they can easily get to any pharmacy. Their doctors can have e-prescriptions written for them. I mean, I think that would be great. Having so many access challenges and things like that, if we can get it right, you know.
That's the point. If we can get it right, I mean, and we're all parents.
Yes.
For example, when I started taking my kids to the hospital, was when I realized that when kids have some conditions, you need to make the doctor aware so they don't write some prescriptions for them.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Now in Ghana, typically when you go to any hospital, somebody has to go to some dark room and look for a folder, try and find this and that. What if you could just call it up on your screen and these things will be flagged? So before they prescribe something for you, they can see what's there. And that's why I mean by digitalizing healthcare. So all your records are there, and there's no guess.
And I can even imagine that because we're using AI, right? If say in an online system within a hospital where your records are in the system, we've pulled up your name, we are prescribing and adding it to your record sheet there. If a prescription drug is
not
suitable for you, but has been suggested, the system itself will flag it.
Exactly.
You know, and so the doctor will then go back in and thoroughly look at what's going on in here to make sure that I can find something else that would work instead. You know, and it will save lives, because I can imagine the number of people who've lost their lives because the wrong medication was given to them.
But they didn't even know. I mean, you can even take it further, where, for example, your parents or somebody in your family has a condition that's hereditary. If that record is there, that can be flagged. So when you go to the hospital, the doctor can be, okay, let's do these tests, let's run these just to eliminate any whatever. So that's another one that I mean, it's not rocket science, and we should be able to.
You should be able to access your records. They give you a PIN, a username, be able to log in and see, or instead of having to go to the hospital, request my folder to be transferred somewhere else.
And if you don't go to the hospital for, let's say, 2 years, and you show back up there, the likelihood of that, you know, the record there being there, if it's on the old system of filing and documents and all that, it's going to be missing. You have to open a new, you know, folder again.
And it's even worse in Ghana, because we don't have individually assigned GPs.
No.
So when you go to a surgery, almost every day you see a different doctor, and he needs to read all the records
again
in the folder again before he knows. Okay, so he might ask you, so the last time you came here was when? Who saw you? What did he prescribe for you? All those things. I mean, it's tedious.
Then he's flipping through your folder and trying to find information.
The last one I've got here is the introduction of robotics. Well, it's been there for a while, but I think they will show a video which will explain some of it. I mean, it's amazing what things that are going on.
Okay, let's take a
so
look.
Great.
Every now and then, an industry goes through a technology disruption. With surgery, that's come with the introduction of robotics. At Intuitive, we continue to push the envelope to make surgery better.
I've been working in robotics for the last 27 years. The thing that most excited me was the day I got to sit down and drive a Da Vinci. It's hard to beat that. Never did I think that I would be working to design a technology that would help save my life. I'm Ted Rogers, and I'm the Vice President of Imaging Advanced Development at Intuitive. I run the team that develops camera systems for our products. Part of the system is a 3D robotic camera that goes into the body and allows the surgeon to see what they're doing.
As humans, we use all of our senses, right? We use the sense of sight, the sense of smell, the sense of touch. Surgery has sometimes hampered that full sense of engagement and interaction. As you've gone through the continuum of surgery, in an open procedure, surgeon has the ability to use full dexterity of their wrists. They can see the surgical site in 3D. Now they have to make a large incision so they can access the appropriate anatomy, and these large incisions can be a challenge for recovery time for the patient. In laparoscopic surgery, the minimally invasive approach that followed, you actually have to move your hand up to move the tip of the instrument down. Left is right, down is up. And so the surgeons have to have this mental remapping as they're looking at a 2D screen, and the dexterity was completely lost. So when we came in and said, all right, we believe that a robotic assisted approach will be much better, our first mission was to give back 3D vision and dexterity inside the body. We're proud of what we've accomplished over the last 24 years. Da Vinci systems have been used in more than 7 million procedures, and we have more than 5,000 systems installed worldwide.
The whole point of the robot is to minimize the invasiveness of the surgery. So we're using instruments that are only about 8 millimeters in diameter, about the size of my pinky finger. Now we're starting to focus on how can we show the surgeon things they can't see with their own eyes. So today the Da Vinci system has what we call Firefly, which is a near-infrared imaging system that the surgeon can use to visualize certain structures, like the bile duct during gallbladder surgery or judging blood flow during a colorectal procedure. This is just one way that we can help the surgeon gain more information about the structures that they're working on during the surgery. In April of 2017, I was diagnosed with aggressive prostate cancer. I was 48 years old, and I faced the prospect that I might not be alive by the same time the next year. Is this the last time that I'll ever go sailing? Will I get to see my kids grow up? Will I outlive my dog? I was fortunate to get an appointment with one of the top prostate surgeons on the West Coast who also happens to use our robotic-assisted systems. I have 2 daughters. They saw me go through my own surgery and how, for as major a surgery as that was, how much of a non-event it was. Went to the hospital one morning, came back the next. Having a family and to feel the love and connection that we all have for each other, it is really the most meaningful thing in my life.
Okay, now that gives you a glimpse of what people have been working on for a couple of decades, and it's paying off.
Exactly. For 24 years, they've been working on this. Yeah. And the guy there, he's the VP of the company. He has a personal story to tell. I love these emotional connections with these stories. And look at how effective, how accurate, just using a robot, because it says something like that. The robot allows them to be able, the doctors be able to see places they can't see with their own eyes. But they're using 3D cameras, they can be monitoring it from somewhere and all of that. Amazing. Imagine stuff. In Ghana, they said they have 500 of them across. I'm at the time this video was shot last year across different hospitals. Imagine somewhere in Ghana, a doctor can sit somewhere and can be operating at different times. So you don't need to travel to remote parts with him. As long as it's there, you can do that.
You can do that. Amazing stuff. Okay. Now I know there's something else you want to show us, another video.
Yes.
This one's a bit fun.
It's fun.
It's a fun one.
I think for me it's fun because often when you hear these things, even Bernard was saying something this morning that we haven't finished the problem of unemployment. All of a sudden people want to introduce technology, AI and the rest. But this video shows how friendly some of these robots are and how they blend into the whole operation in the hospital. Let's watch that.
Okay.
Moxie is a teammate. She's here to actually relieve some of the pressure of task and the hunt and gather that we all have to do all day that takes our time away from the patient.
Diligent Robotics of Austin designed Moxie to perform routine tasks in a clinical setting.
We really need to understand the workflows of these units. We need to understand, well, what do nurses do? How do they do it? And how do we think about Moxie fitting into those workflows?
Her little voice, you know, when she passes you and says hello, and her eyes, she does seem to have a personality. We don't think of her as a thing, it's Moxie.
During a month-long pilot, Moxie stocked patient rooms, removed dirty linens, and took samples to the lab.
Almost 30% of our task during our shift is to fetch things. If you're in the patient room doing something, oh, okay, they need an extra blanket, it's not there, you need to step up. But at this time, all you need to do is press your voice over button and call for Moxie team. It responds.
So we anticipate that this will give us better insight into a couple of things: how nurses feel that they spend their time in a given shift, but also what time we could give back to our patients. So how this could potentially impact patient satisfaction, patient outcomes, and the overall experience within the hospital.
Patients are intrigued by Moxie.
They have seen at the door side, they will ask us, hey, what is that? Is that a robot? It's really funny and interesting the way how they look at it, but they are also happy that we are working with it.
So it's been really amazing to look at what we're doing here in the very first phase, very first hospital deployment of a care assistive robot, and what the future could hold. Because just the impact that we've seen for our team within this last month, it's amazing what we could potentially give to healthcare in the future.
She's really created with my team a sense of unity as we look at, what can Moxie do for us?
All right, so
I need a Moxie in my house.
Oh, no, we need a Roxy at Ridge Hospital. Ridge Hospital has a Roxy.
And then a Coxie at Kolebu. Okay, and a Toxie at Tamale.
Exactly. There's something you said there. That, they can now estimate the amount of time they can give back to the patients.
Yes.
When you go to most hospitals, nurses who could be doing other things are doing things like laying beds, fetching, things.
Menial tasks.
Menial tasks. Yeah. But all these can be done by just pressing a button. Moxie will deliver it. Wow. And so they can focus on more important things.
Patient care.
Yeah. That's great. And so it doesn't eliminate the human factor.
No.
It actually complements it. Yeah. Which is good.
Yeah. So there's nothing to worry about. No fear.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you
so much.
Yeah,
how do people get in touch with you if they want to reach you?
On Twitter at Nase. That's me.
At Nase on Twitter.
That's me.
Fantastic.